Hello, welcome back here in the Caden's Weather Center. Today is June 20th, 2025. We have a big day today. We're going to be talking about a severe weather threat in the northern part of the United States here, as well as touching up on the heat wave that is continuing on throughout the central part of the United States, heading all throughout the east, the southeast, and just majority of the country dealing with some very, very hot temperatures. So we're going to talk about that here. And then we're also going to be talking a little bit about the tropics. Not much going on, but we'll take a little look on that. But as of right now, let's just hop right into it and get some updates going in. So let's take a look right now on some updates here. We can clearly see here's the map around the United States. Kind of what are we looking at currently? Well, you can obviously see maybe some rain showers continuing on in Montana, Idaho area. This is going to be our main severe weather risk area right in this region right here, and we'll talk about that here shortly, and we'll go over more in depth into that. But our main area this morning here is the severe thunderstorm warnings, specifically in Iowa already. So let's keep an eye on those. Let's take a look at actually some of these. Some here in Iowa. We've been seeing a lot of big winds and storms continuing on in the Iowa region here, and just just 1 inch in diameter for hail, so nothing too major, but pretty big storm just going down to the down south of Mason City here, and that will be pushing down to the southeast. But that's not our main weather threat for today. As we fast forward to our main weather threat for today here for Friday, June 20th, we can obviously see we're looking at North Dakota. North Dakota here has an enhanced risk. I wouldn't say we're expecting a moderate risk here, but definitely a enhanced risk is here. That does include Dickinson, Bismarck, Jamestown, Devils Lake, Grand Forks, and Fargo. You guys are all in that orange region there, and that's something that we're going to be continuing to pay attention to very, very closely as we go on throughout the rest of the day here. We are going to be expecting some pretty big thunderstorms later into this evening here, as well as a slight weather risk continuing on over here. You can see over here of the northern part of North Dakota. That does include several towns as well. Now you head over here to the Minnesota side. You can obviously see that enhanced risk stretches into the Minnesota region as well. That does include Grand Rapids here, a couple other towns as well, so we're going to keep an eye on that if you live in there. Minneapolis and St. Paul, you guys are in that slight risk, so you can't rule out somewhat still of an isolated tornado, maybe even some hail and some wind threat today. But let's take a look right here, go back to North Dakota for the tornado outlook. You can clearly see Jamestown, Fargo, you guys are in that general area of significant to severe. So that's a possibility here that we could be seeing maybe some long track tornadoes in some of these regions here, and that does include Bismarck as well, as these storms will be continuing to push off to the east as well as we go through later today. Taking a look at Minnesota, you can see the tornado threat here does head a little bit more into the western central part here of Minnesota. It does include Moorhead, Fergus Falls here. You guys are in that, as Brainerd, Walker. You guys are in that significant to severe threat for that tornado outbreak today. But you can even see some of the brown here. That still could not, you can't rule out a possible tornado there, or even in the green area, you can't rule out any tornado for that as well. Taking a look here at the wind threat, you can definitely see significant to severe winds are expected in this highlighted area here with the dashes. Bismarck, Dickinson, Jamestown, once again, you guys are going to be in this major wind threat that we're going to be anticipating here. And same thing for Minnesota. We're going to be seeing this continue a lot more off to the east as well for the significant to severe wind, possibly reaching over 70 miles an hour. We could be seeing that in some of these regions. Minneapolis, St. Paul, we're looking at you guys are in that yellow area, but still you guys could be possibly getting from 60 to 70 mile an hour winds as well as these storms move through. Hail outlook, pretty same here. We can see very significant to severe hail could be anticipated here. Obviously the red is going to be where the biggest of hail will be, and then the biggest hail does not stretch too much into Minnesota, but does kind of hang out into the western part of Minnesota here. But the significant to severe still pushes a lot over here into the east in part of northern Michigan, so we're going to keep an eye on that very, very closely here. Taking a look at the FV3 model here, the HRRR model has been having some issues. but we'll take a look at that eventually, and I'll post that on my X page. But you can see 8 a.m. here. Let's head into 10 a.m. We can see obviously those storms that are continuing on over here in the parts of eastern Iowa, now heading into Illinois. We're going to see that continue on, and then there's some storms that we're going to be watching here later tonight, 10 p.m. region. We're going to be seeing some of those storms in the northern part of North Dakota, as well as some heading over here into the northwestern part of Minnesota. We're going to be seeing that. And this will have the possibility here of something, bringing a possible slight tornado or any risk of hail or gusty winds. We're going to see this continue to push off over here to the east in 12 a.m. Eastern time, 11 Central. We're going to be seeing Minnesota. We're going to be seeing you guys having some pretty big storms there, as well as in North Dakota, in the eastern part of North Dakota. We're going to see you guys having some pretty big storms as well. And that will continue to move off to the east here, and this will make its way into Wisconsin and then Michigan as well. And that will continue to move off to the east here pretty quickly, honestly, and we're going to be seeing that. Taking a look at a different model run, the RGEM, we can see kind of bringing up not the same exact scenario, but majority of the storms going to be in northern Minnesota, and once again those kind of push off here to the northeast and the east here according to this model, with the severe weather risk for North Dakota being tomorrow afternoon here for this model. So couple models being a little different and not showing the exact same thing, but we're going to continue to pay attention to any trends and see what we're kind of looking at. But obviously the Storm Prediction Center expecting a severe weather risk today. Taking a look at these temperatures, so far these temperatures, the west coast really feeling pretty nice and cool here. Oregon, Washington, Idaho, you guys are feeling pretty good this morning, as well as parts, the Ohio Valley into the 60s, the Northeast as well into maybe the upper 50s. But then we head into the afternoon. We can see the heat wave is going to start here in the afternoon. And we can clearly see very heat wave will be continuing on right over here throughout the United States, stretching, from Virginia all the way down here into Florida, pushing into the 90 degrees here, and maybe even in the central part of the United States, maybe even reaching up into the triple digits. So that's something we're going to pay attention to there. Heading into tonight, 103, 102 down here, 108 in Arizona, and we're going to see that kind of cool down a little bit, and then obviously we're just going to be seeing these temperatures just rising and rising, and it looks like we're going to have a little front maybe kind of coming down, or a little cool down a little bit, kind of looking like a front going to be pushing through just the Central America, or not Central America, but central part of America here in the next coming of days. And then taking a look at the European model, same thing, reaching possibly in the triple digits here, and continuing to see these temperatures really just starting to ramp up over here as we get closer and closer to we're just heading into summer here. We are in summer, and these temperatures are here to really just continue to ramp up and obviously make a lot of people uncomfortable. Taking a look at the hurricane predictions here and what we're seeing, we just saw Hurricane Eric make a pretty big landfall as a major hurricane there in the western part of Mexico. That's still dropping some pretty heavy amounts of rain there, so a lot of flooding is continuing on in the western part of Mexico here. We have a new slight risk here by the National Hurricane Center on the west of the Central America. This has a 30% chance here of development here in the next 7 days. Nothing too big to be concerned about right now. But as the Eastern Pacific has already made its E-name storm here, now we're waiting for the Atlantic to have one area of interest. We don't have any areas of interest yet, and we haven't had any for the Atlantic hurricane season. But still, once again, no activity is expected here in the next 7 days. And then you take a look here at the global tropical hazard outlook. Nothing active here in the Atlantic. Majority of all of that activity will be on the Eastern Pacific here. And you can see these specific dates here. These specific dates are, you can see the top one, June 25th to July 1st here. So that will be next week. And then you have, obviously down here to the south, you have it July 2nd to July 8th. So we're continuing to pay attention to that. But as of right now, Atlantic is staying very, very quiet. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, guys. I have some big news coming up for us here in the next coming of weeks, so make sure you guys stay tuned to my X page. That will be down in the description down below. I have some major updates and major news that you guys, I hope, will love. I know I'm going to love it, but I have some big news coming up, and we're going to be starting something brand new, and there's going to be some just new stuff. I'm not going to spoil anything like that, but there's going to be some pretty cool stuff that you guys can be able to get. But hopefully you guys, we'll look into that here in the future. But I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. Make sure to stay safe out there, and please be weather aware as well. Make sure to follow my Discord and the X page down in the description. But I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. Have a good one. Stay safe, and bye-bye.